welcome to the chat with Illuminessence. Today I'm joined by the fabulous Alexis and Kayla, and we're going to be talking about what inspires them for success and share some tips they've learned from their experiences that they could share with other aspiring femme leaders, because at the end of the day, they're where they are because of lessons they've learned and the will to continue and not give up. And it's so important that we continue to share these with other women so that they will be inspired for success. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
So what inspires you for success, Kayla?
I've always been driven, and I'm not certain why, but I guess I knew early what my passion was, which was writing. And when I learned that people got paid to write books, I promptly started working towards publication. I just knew that that was something that I wanted to do. I didn't want to spend a life doing something other than that. And my father kept sort of trying to dissuade me. He said, there can be a lot of rejection. You'll never know if you can make it. Perhaps you should do something else. Go into teaching, law, something that will bring in a guaranteed income. And as I got older and went to university, I saw my friends doing that. I did go to teachers college to please my father, but I saw people who were going into career paths that they were not passionate about. They were in their 20s and saying, I don't know what I'm passionate about. I guess I'm going to do this. And for whatever reason, I'm not certain why, but it's just something that I knew I don't want to be like people I was even meeting who were 50 saying, oh, I went into law, but it's not really what I was passionate about. Now I'm leaving law to do something else. So I think I met a lot of people like that, and I thought, no, I'm going to pursue what I want now. If I put everything into it now and I don't succeed, I won't have regret when I'm older. So I've just been driven to
And
succeed.
talk about what age. Look at how young you were. Share with the viewers what age.
Did you graduate teachers college?
I did.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah, I graduated teachers college.
Young. Got your first
I sent my first book to a publisher when I was 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I knew that this was what I wanted to do and realized it could be something that you could do. I sent my first book to a publisher when I was 13, and it's weird because I didn't know any other writers. I didn't have role models, and I meet a lot of people now, and I do go to speak to some youth and try to inspire them. But let's not forget, you can inspire yourself.
Yeah.
You don't need to wait for someone else to say, you know what, you can do this. No, if you have this dream, and those are sometimes the most successful stories we hear. People who are like, I didn't know how I was going to start this, you know, whether it's a spa, whatever, but I just thought, hey, I'm going to start something. I start in their basement, their garage, next thing they've got.
Well, that's yours. That's
100%.
Alexis.
Yeah.
Share with us yours. Like, basically, that was your start.
Yeah, and I mean, Kayla, I think hits it on the head. Like, sometimes it's hard to describe or explain, but the key words that she said to me were passion and drive. You definitely need both, and I did have those for the spa industry, but sort of like Kayla, like, you know, I have a degree in photography, so I didn't go back to school for aesthetics until after my child, because at that point, you really want to do something that you love and are passionate about when you're away from your family. So that was sort of the turning point for me. And things that inspire me like daily, that keep me going, because it's really, really hard being self-employed. And if you have employees or if you don't, like, it's always a challenge. And just like when I see how happy I make people, how happy my employees are, things like that, like that's what it keeps inspiring me day to day. Like passion and drive are 100% what you need to become an entrepreneur or professional. I started my business in my front porch. It was freezing cold. I had a 3-month-old, so if I did pedicures, my clients would hold her, or I do manicures and rock her with my feet. We're very faceted, tasking women. And it just grew from there. So I went from 7 clients to having, now I have a couple of thousand probably. Yeah, and a staff of 5. So whether I was on my front porch or, you know, on my Lock Street location, challenges all the time. And the other thing that's really inspiring as an entrepreneur is the fact that you grow. Like, I think about who I was like even a year ago, and I've learned so much, and like I've grown and become a better person. And I do believe that when you take those steps to become an entrepreneur, you do ultimately become a better person.
Well, I love what you said about being on the, I don't know why you did it when it was freezing, but hey, but you're better than I am. But that you had your baby there and you'd be rocking her with your foot or someone holding, and it didn't stop you.
At all.
Someone else would say, oh, I can't do this because I've got a 3-month-old, or I don't have a spot, or it's cold. And they make excuses, and you didn't make those excuses. You did it despite the challenges, and that's really the mark of an entrepreneur, and that's the person who ultimately, I mean, when you become successful, there's always
That's
that
the
story.
story.
It's not, oh, it was just handed to you.
Yeah,
Here's a
I
silver
know, because I
platter.
think that's such a key point. When I think about it, people who succeed don't quit. The reason why we have these stories, and eventually when you're celebrated as a success, it's because you did not quit.
That's right.
You know, so I think what happens is as you go through the process, even when you think about Steve Jobs' story, where he went through so many challenges, or Oprah, all these successful people, they have their down moments, or they evolve and they change, because again, within a business, as your business grows or your vision might expand, or you might have to change it a little bit. Even with Illuminessence, from where we started to where we are now, I think even with how even the show itself, how we envisioned it at first, and if that didn't work or we didn't have the capacity, we figured let's switch it around, whatever can make it work. And just consistency, because I think again, having you, because I've worked with you from the beginning, like both of you actually I've known, but you, we've worked together from the beginning, and also just having that consistency of people who believe in you, and you keep, because you need that, I think, to succeed as well, where you have that support system where people don't give up on you, or they believe in you and they continue regardless. Like I always talk about it, I'm like, you have been so consistent, you know what I mean? It's like, even if we don't know how it's gonna end, but we keep going. And you from the beginning, so I think all of those things are really what you sit back and say, well, I'm not gonna quit at this, because there are people who believe in me, who support me. And if I fall on my face, we can still figure out a way to continue, but just not quitting, I think, is the key.
I have to just add to that, because people need to acknowledge that just because you might do this, it's a roller coaster.
Absolutely.
It can be up this year, it can be down the next year.
It's equally
and then,
as thrilling.
Yeah, and
or more scary.
Yeah, and you just don't know. Sometimes you're down and you're like, oh, where am I going to go from here? People have to either reinvent themselves sometimes or change focus, but you can't give up.
And it doesn't mean it's failure if
No.
one way doesn't work,
No.
and you take time to really reflect and figure out how
have
do
to
you
be
do it
adaptable.
again. You
But
know?
other people will quit in the face of, oh, I tried this and now
didn't work.
I've hit this wall, as opposed to figuring out how to knock the wall down.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I think it's important to be open.
Absolutely.
To be open to say, that didn't work, now I'm going to try this, and to learn lessons.
Along
like, if
the
you
way.
have a chip on your shoulder, or you don't listen or pay attention, then you're in trouble, because learning lessons is something that happens still daily.
Exactly.
And as a leader, really, there has to be a level of humility, because you all as family leaders, you work with people, you motivate people, you inspire people. You have to have a level of humility, because for you to learn, you have to acknowledge that you don't know everything, and that if you make mistakes, you recognize those mistakes and don't be too proud to say sorry, or, you know, just all of those things. So you have to, if you have a huge chip on your shoulder, you're not going to be able to recognize those small cues or learn from those lessons that you don't know it all.
Yeah.
Look, and if you're at the top, as they say, it's a long way.
Yeah.
So if you've like hit a certain point and you figure you could like cut out everyone else who maybe helped you get there, well, the fall
Not
can be
smart.
really long.
Absolutely.
And you have no one else to catch you at that point when you've set them all running.
Absolutely.
So
Well, I really, like, I want to give a shout out to Illuminessence, because I don't know where, I can't remember where I saw about it, but I went to your very first launch over at Radius. And I'm on my own. It's quite isolating when you start a business without a partner. And I just remember sitting there and being like, here is a group of women who are dynamic and all different. So, and that inspired me. So that's why I'm like, whoever these people are, I have to surround myself with them, because positive to me is huge.
it's
So that
so
was
important.
like, and there are things in your community, if you feel isolated, like Illuminessence, that you can sort of become a part of. Yeah.
Or even if not anything, I think what I love most about it, and I can't say enough of it, is just all the people we've featured or interact, they're so inspiring. And I think no matter who you are, you will learn something from, and it's funny, I was looking at it, we've done 118 features in literally less than 3 years. And that's a lot of people that you can learn from, and we've done everybody. And I think that brings me to my next point. What does success mean to you? Because a lot of times we look at success and it might be money, it might be material things, but I think what I've learned from all the different features even is it's also different for everybody, and everybody's just equally as inspiring. So like, back to you, what does success really mean to you when you think of success?
Well, success for me means being able to continue to do what I love. As long as I have enough of my bills paid that I can do what I love and I don't have to be doing something else, that's success. I don't have to have 10 million in the bank.
Exactly.
Wouldn't complain. But, you know, if I'm able, some people have 10 million and their lives are so stressful,
Yeah.
you know, depending what they're doing to get that. But if I'm able to live my dream, because writing for me is not work. I mean, it's hard. It's not that it's easy, but it's my passion. So when you do your passion,
And I think it comes naturally to you too.
Yeah. But, I mean, there are days
Something
that are
you're
tough.
talented at.
But it's what I would want to do no matter, on my worst day writing, that's still my best day of doing any other job.
Yeah.
So as long as I can continue to do that, that's success.
To you.
Yeah, I mean, she's hitting it on the head for sure. I can't nod my head like fast enough. It totally is. And I was telling you earlier, like, I did have this expectation that success to me was, you know, by the time I'm 40, I'm going to have 2 spas and this is my income. And it was very like, of course you're going to have your business plan and you're going to aim for it, but just to give yourself the ability to not beat yourself up if perhaps you didn't reach a goal that you had set, and then allowing yourself to feel proud for the things that you have accomplished. Because I really have to remind myself
Where
what I've accomplished.
What you've accomplished,
and,
exactly.
and it's hard to, because I'm like, you know, if someone wants to give you an award or say nice things to you, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
No,
like
you've come a long way, and I
have
think
to-
that's where some people who do the vision boards, like I haven't done
Yeah.
one yet, but people do that. Because I think even though it might look like this huge thing, you've put all these things, but every little thing that you put on there is a goal you wanted to
Yeah.
achieve. So I think the little milestones, you might not have 5 spas, but even the one and it's successful and you know you're gonna get another one, that's a milestone. Going from 1 staff to 5, that's a
Oh, yeah.
huge achievement.
Y-
And
yeah.
all the awards you've achieved to this point. So I think every little success or every little achievement matters and it should be celebrated. I
Well,
think
And the
that's really
happiness
what.
you said you bring to your clients, because you don't want to have so
That's-
much business where the personal touch is gone and now people aren't
100%.
happy. So bringing that happiness to people and
Like-
that personal touch
That's right.
is always going
It's not
to be
losing sight
Yeah.
of why you write, you know, why we do
We
what
do
we
what we
do.
do.
And
Yeah.
you can sometimes, and I know I
Absolutely.
have, and my business will suffer for it. And I suffer for it. I'm not as happy. So,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
you have
Yeah,
to
and that's
sometimes,
another
like,
thing we have to really take into we have to acknowledge, like, it's not always easy. We're not always at our happiest because it's very tough. It's
Yeah.
very difficult doing anything that involves a
Risk.
business or risk.
Yeah.
Or so we have our days, and I think it's okay. There were times when I used to think like maybe it's not normal or it's not okay for me to not feel as happy, but I think it's okay because if you don't feel that, how are you motivated to try to overcome it and
I think we
overcome
have to
whichever
allow
challenge?
ourselves to have those days, and then the next day you get up and you're like, okay, you know what, back at it,
Yeah.
right? Just
Yeah.
yeah.
it's just like
So-
life. We have happy days, sad days, good relationships, bad relationships. It's just part of life.
Part of
Yeah,
life.
And we
and,
have
it's,
to-
and ultimately it's so rewarding, right? Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
we love what we do, and so
And we'll
it's a
keep
good
doing
thing.
And
it.
we keep doing it.
Well,
Keep
that's
doing it.
fantastic. Thank you so much. I think that was a great chat, and I hope our viewers out there, you learned from these amazing women and you continue to be inspired for success in 2016. Whatever success means to you, it's up to you to make a definition for yourself and for your life. What does success mean to you? Don't try to compare it to anybody else's success, but define your own success. And we wish you all the best and have a fabulous day and keep illuminating.